Hello, ladies. I'm James Hill. Good morning to you. I hope you're having a good day. This video I'm about to show you, I've been still trying to figure out what is so obsession with people about black men. Why are they so focused on black people, but particularly black men, and who they date and who they marry? Let's start with this video.
Who wants to know why don't passport bros go to Africa? All right, he's making his rounds. The video is taking off. And my question is, why are so many people de-policing black men? So we're going to watch this video. We're going to go over it. And, of course, I'm going to cook his ass. All right? And, it's getting out of control. But before we do that, you guys already know what it is. Check out Phantasm, my private Patreon-like website. My latest video, Eye for an Eye, has already got 51 comments. This is probably one of my most popular videos because I reveal some of my tactics that I use out here in Brazil, which is one of them is called the referral system. All right? We go down a rabbit hole on that. Also, check out the Discord. Link is in the description box. Let's get to 3,000 members before the end of the year. We're almost there. Lastly, we are having a yacht party December 29th in Rio de Janeiro. All right? Unfortunately, I will not be there because I'm going to the United States here soon, but I'm telling you guys, this joint is going to be fire. We have so many baddies that have been sending us messages asking to get on the boat. Also, since I was tagged as a collaborator on this advertisement, I've had so many bad chicks follow me, bro. I'm literally getting FOMO for my return to Rio, and I haven't even left Rio yet. And I'm already excited to come back. That's how crazy it is out here, bro. We're gonna get to more story times, but before we do that, man, let's go ahead and just see what this Brad is talking about, okay?
Never go to Africa to pick up a girlfriend. I've been thinking about it. It doesn't really make sense because the condition.
Let me go ahead and redo this.
Africa.
Rewind from the beginning.
Why is it the passport bros never go to Africa to pick up a girlfriend? I've been thinking about it. It doesn't really make sense because the conditions in countries like Nigeria, they're somewhat similar to like South America or Southeast Asia. And so it doesn't really make a lot of sense that passport bros haven't been, I'm going to use the word exploiting Africa as a source of stock. I just can't think.
Okay, hold on. We gotta start there. Why aren't passport bros going to Africa? Like, my counter question to you is, why do you care? Everybody has a preference. What these white boys don't like is that the brothers have shown up to Africa. The brothers have shown up to Thailand. Shout out to Zoom to Thailand. The brothers are showing up to Thailand. They showing up to the Philippines. They're showing up to these watering holes that these white boys been exploiting for the last 3 decades. All right, so now he's feeling some kind of way, which it's mind-boggling how now these people are trying to tell you where you should go and where you shouldn't go. I don't see none of these, and here's another thing too. I don't see any of these white boys ever going to Eastern Europe. I have a lot of white boys in my Discord. I have a lot of white boys in my DMs. We follow each other on Instagram. I get consultations from these white boys. I ain't had not one of them tell me I want to go to Poland, Scholar. I want to go to Norway, Scholar. I want to go to Romania, Scholar. Never. You always want to go to Asia or Latin America. So don't get mad at us when we want to do the same thing. You guys already know why I'm in Brazil. Okay, I love me some Latinas in Brazil. I love the diversity in Brazil. And of course, I love the culture too. That's why I'm here. But you got this dude, why aren't you going to Africa? First of all, you actually have passport bros in Africa. You got think of their name.
Austin Holloman.
Who you got in Africa?
Austin.
I'm drawing a blank. Austin Holland.
Mm-hmm.
You got Austin Holloman in Africa. Shout out to him. He's blocked me, but he's still cool. You know what I'm saying? He's doing his thing.
O'Shea through
But
Jackson.
he's in Africa. All right. You have. I'm drawing some blanks here. Like for some reason, you got my brother that's in Uganda. My mind is O'Shea Duke Jackson. You have him in Uganda. He's not a passport bro. You know what I'm saying? He's a business guy handling his business. But you have brothers that are in Africa. You got Lord Williamson. I never met him before, but I know he's holding it down in South Africa. The problem is that a lot of times you don't see a lot of these guys like go viral like that. You know what I'm saying? There's always the guys that are in Thailand walking around, or in guys like Don Banks showcasing all the jewels in Brazil. That's what's taking off, and that's what people see. But let's finish what he got to say.
A reason for this, I mean, maybe it will start getting more popular as travel and tourism in Africa takes off even more, because I know it's somewhat popular now, but like in the future, maybe when the tourism industry in these countries is like absolutely throbbing, perhaps the passport bros will be going over there and we'll be seeing people with like, you know, Kenyan tings. I don't know, because at the moment there's a real lack of representation in the passport bro community going to countries in Africa and picking up those black baddies. Why do you think this is, guys? Just doesn't make sense. God bless.
All right, so here's an unpopular opinion, and people are going to get mad at me. So that last part, he was correct. Most of the passport bros, quote unquote, that I see in Africa are not pulling any baddies. They're not. They're not. 99% of them. When you see them strolling around in Africa, they ain't with anything that's special. And people are gonna get mad at me, and they're gonna say, "You talking about this person, or you talking about that person?" Yes, I am. They ain't pulling them. So white boy actually does have a point that when brothers do go to Africa, they ain't really. It's like, why would you could have just stayed in the United States with that? You parading around this woman in Kenya, in Libya, in wherever, and you could have just stayed home with that, bro. That's what he's really saying. But you guys tell me if I'm wrong. Am I off base here? Am I crazy? Am I local? All right. So the white boy did have a point. Let's get to the comment section here. He says, because it's passport bros sister destination, not passport bros. Many middle-aged divorced French women love going to Africa. So you do have a lot of white girls, white ladies who be in Africa. Nobody talks about that. It's hush hush. I've seen documentaries on the Gambia. It's probably not just the Gambia. It's a lot of other different places too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because Asian women are cute. The passport bros do go to Kenya. I've seen it with my own eyes. There are a lot of guys who do go to Kenya. Kenya absolutely does have some attractive women, for sure. I have seen them on the internet. They have popped up on my reel on Instagram. But I don't really see any passport bros after them. And I have a guess as to why. They're monetized. Excuse me, I didn't say that out loud, did I? Let me see. They do, especially East Africa and West Africa, because Africa is for beginners. Not true. The EU passport bros prefer Africa over Latin America. American passport bros the other way around, both because of cultural alignment and somehow risk. And a lot of times, like a lot of the passport bros who are really making the noise, it's just a lot easier to fly to South America. You can fly to Colombia and be back within 3 or 4 days. It'd be a lot cheaper versus flying over the Atlantic Ocean and going to Africa. So that's probably why, if Africa was closer to the United States, you would see more people go there. Okay? There's a lot of
Sure.
uncertainty when you get there. There's not a lot of widespread information about places in Africa compared to Colombia, compared to Brazil, compared to Dominican Republic. So it's basically part proximity, it's part preference. Okay, but you shouldn't be running your mouth and be worried about what we do. That's the other thing. Like, why do these people care? Like, why do you care? It never dawned on me to worry about why all these white boys be going to
Right.
Thailand.
Right.
It never dawned on me to ask why, to create a video about it. Hey, if that's what you like. I know what white boys like. They like the little skinny, petite, foldable, spinner Asian girls that they can just flip around in the bed and toss them around. If that's what you like, that's what you like. Most brothers like a little bit of thickness. Brothers like a little bit of bunda. A lot of brothers like that. Thick legs. So they're going to go to Latin America. What you don't see is, you don't see a lot of brothers going to Europe. And people say, well, it's because it's so expensive. It's like, why would I skip Latin America where it's warm? You have a lot of melanated women, thick legs, the whole nine, and go versus going to cold ass Europe. It doesn't make sense. You hear a lot of people critiquing passport bros and asking, why don't you guys ever go to Africa? I'm sorry, why don't you guys ever go to Europe? Nobody cares about France and Paris and all these other places. I'm like, no, it ain't on the top of the radar. Okay, so
That's basically his answer to that. Shout out to Skyler for that. Yeah, it's like, man, it's like, why did these other men be penis policing black men? Well, I'm gonna let someone kind of point that out to this here from a white female. Shout out to Phil Channel.
Question for you. When you present your big idea, are you owning the moment or sweating through it? Do your people remember your words?
So a lot of times on TikTok, you have people just spilling the beans about their particular communities. Case in point, you have a white woman that's going to really dive into something that we've definitely talked about in the psychology of the white supremacist when in relation to black men. But listen to what this woman has to say. Let's roll that.
You know what's funny about white men saying stuff like this is that they would be the first to know since they love BBC more than anybody. I've had white men literally message me when I was doing OnlyFans with my ex, begging if they could suck his thing. And I've had white men say, oh, so what is it about BBC? Like they are obsessed with it. Like I've already told you guys, most men are bisexual and homosexual. And black men, since slavery, have been exploited as sexual objects. And this goes all the way back to white people cutting off their penises and keeping it in their house like souvenirs. So black men have been extremely sexually abused and exploited and treated as sexual objects. And it's almost intentional that they created a lot of porn with a lot of white women and black men. And white men are very sexually attracted to black men, as we know, since slavery. And the white man has turned the black man into a sexual object or sex symbol because white men love them some BBC. So if anybody knows about BBC, it's white men. And then the little dick energy goes crazy because it's like white men are insecure about their things if it's not, even though there's white men with big ones, there's black men with small ones, it's whatever. But again, white supremacy has over-sexualized the black man and exploited his penis and turned the black man into an object, which explains a whole lot of behaviors on that end and why society is the way it is. But that's a whole nother situation. So I just find it funny when white men, try to say stuff to white women about messing with black men because, they're either jealous or they feel inferior. And like I said, there's no one that loves the BBC more than a white man, am I right? And white men are cucks. Since the beginning of the time, they would watch the slaves' daughters. White men are cucks. They want to watch their wife get by a BBC. they're pervs, they're freaks. So it's like similar to how, men are so sexually frustrated to the point that they hate women, or, they want us so bad that they have to create a way to make us feel inferior, and, all these mind games to make it easier for them to get a woman. I kind of feel it's the same way with white men trying to make black men feel inferior or put anyone down who deals with the black men because of not only the jealousy, but they want that black man too. And then this little race war between the men that they have fueled, oh, my woman, oh, we need to create more white babies. And then the black men are like, well, we're going to take the white women and make them black babies. And they're just using children and women as casualties in this fucking race war because everything to men is a game. All they do is play video games. Everything's Call of Duty. Everything is a me versus them. I need to win. You need to lose. So the black men get with the white woman despite the white man. The white man gets with the black woman despite the black man. And behind closed doors, all that white man wants is some BBC.
Well, first and foremost, we know LGBT is their culture. They've been practicing LGBT all up when they was definitely in Rome and the caves and everything else. That is their culture. Now, our people here have adopted some of their culture. That's why you have that. That is not a natural phenomenon at all. It's culture for them. But she's right. After they would hang a black person, they would fight for the phallus of a black man. And they would want the phallus of a black man on their men would want that. We ain't talking about the women, we're talking about the men. They said research says that when it comes to adult, films, that films that have black men and white women in it is the most popular and make the most money. And we know men consume more adult films than women consume. They want to see that. You're talking about these white supremacists. As she said, a lot of them are jealous of black men in many ways. Maybe jealous about our anatomy, or jealous about, maybe they can't have the black man like they want to have him like they had some of them in slavery, because let's call it what it is. They called the process buck breaking, where they would actually sodomize a slave in front of everybody. Well, what kind of man would want to do something so degenerate and vile unless he's a degenerate, vile demon? You understand what I'm saying?
Slavery have been exploited as sexual objects, and this goes all the way back to white people cutting off their penises and keeping it in their house like souvenirs. So black men have been extremely sexually abused and exploited and treated as sexual objects, and it's almost intentional that they created a lot of porn with a lot of white women and black men. And white men are very sexually attracted to black men, as we know, since slavery. And the white man has turned the black man into a sexual object or sex symbol.
So really, she's just spilling the beans on her community. That's all it is too. And she said a lot of it fused, the race war and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Beyond what she mentioned about black men getting with white women despite white men. Black men not even checking for white women like that. I mean, like, y'all really need to stop saying that, because you think about it. They talk about like the passport kings that's traveling, right? They're not going to European countries looking for women. They've been going to Latin America. Some of the brothers now are starting to go to the continent of Africa, which is great. That's where they've been should have been going. Some of them have been going to Thailand, the Philippines, etc., right? They're not going looking for no white women. Like, no, trust me, the day of brothers just exclusively looking for white women, that's over. I'm not saying no brothers don't do it. Them brothers that live in them northern states and don't have a lot of black people, you see more of that. But when you come down south, or even just have an opportunity to be around different people, brothers ain't checking for them like that. So y'all need to stop all that. And when brothers doing it, they definitely not thinking about the white man. Not at all. That's the last thing on his mind.
No.
So I just find it funny when white men, try to say stuff to white women about messing with black men because, they're either jealous or they feel inferior.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said,
Mm-hmm.
there's no one that loves the BBC more than a white man,
Yeah.
am I right?
Mm-hmm.
And white men are cunts. Since the beginning of the time, they would watch the slaves, their daughters. White men are cunts. They want to watch their wife get by a BBC. They're pervs. They're freaks. So it's like similar to how, men are so sexually frustrated to the point that they hate women, or, they want us so bad that they have to create a way to make us feel inferior, and, all these mind games to make it easier for them to get a woman. I kind of feel it's the same way with white men trying to make black men feel inferior or put anyone down who deals with the black men because of not only the jealousy, but they want that black man too.
Like I said, you hear people in their community talk about things like this. Believe them. Believe them 100%.
Yep.
She know her men. She know them way better than most of us do.
And I concur with that message. I used to hear that one time when I had a female friend and we were just being friends. And she would come visit me at my dorm room. This was in Nelsonville, Ohio. And I was like one of the only few black guys on the floor. And I remember, and she's a fairly attractive woman. She was from down near there. And we were just friends. We just work out at the gym. And when they saw her, they lost their mind. Oh, he's giving that big black, BBC. I'm like, what is it like? What is? And they were mad. They were insecure. Oh my God! And it's like this is coming out like that, but that's very true. She is not lying. Oh my goodness! She is not. She ain't not lying with this.
Educational purposes. Everybody I know who's married right now, they're married to broke-ass niggas.
And you're listening to your favorite rap song. Do you say it?
Yes.
Yeah.
You're collaborating. Keep it up.
Thanks, Nick. Appreciate it. So...
I tried my best, but they want to keep a real down, okay? And that's what they're doing.
So it's no secret that black culture is extremely influential. From our style to our slang, our music, to how we dress, we really are the trendsetters in the world. Whether other cultures want to admit it or not, a lot of what we do is heavily imitated, especially by the ones that claim to hate us the most. We make everything cool, and a lot of times what comes with that is people trying to come along and steal what we've created. And we've seen this countless times throughout history. But it's one word that they've always wanted to say, but never been allowed to. And you can tell it really frustrates them. It's in every rap song, and a lot of us use it daily. It's gotten to the point where they're trying to force access to it, and they've created a whole movement around it to justify it. That's right, you guessed it, the N-word.
Do you want a fucking nigga that's gonna beat around the bush and lie to you? What?
I've yet to say it on air with a hard ER. I've said
No, please don't.
many times,
That doesn't sound right.
I've yet to say it with the hard ER. Should I do it right now?
When they chimp out, I call him a chimp. Shut up, Nick. Dumb.
What I find really odd is how they never go after other cultures. It's always black culture. And the only word that they seem obsessed with using is the N-word. Now, part of that is probably because they know the power that that word holds, and they know that they're going to get attention from it. But they try to hide behind free speech, even though the only time that they want to exercise that free speech is when it comes to disrespecting the black community. They don't do this with any other race, no other culture. It's just us. But don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that they should disrespect other cultures. But what I am saying is this is clearly targeted. And honestly, this feels like some sort of obsession. Like they want to be close to blackness in some way, but can't fully access it. So this is the only way that they can do it. Because for me personally, if I really don't like something, I try to avoid it at all costs.
Right.
I don't try to look like it, talk like it, or be around it at all. But with them, it's the complete opposite. And that really shows you everything you need to know.
A black woman is speaking. By the way, half the struggles that black women think they face, it's of their own fucking doing. Running around in nails like this, running around in earrings like this, like you people fight every day. Seriously. They wear wigs that can be pulled out, they put braids in their hair that can rip the rest of their hair out, and then they complain about having alopecia. No, it's self-induced alopecia. That's like despite being so proud of being black. Hail the black woman. Hail her.
Stop, Lydia! Too much! That's Paige! Not Paige! I am a nigger.
Do you understand that none of you will
Put
get...
it that way.
Do you guys understand the consequences of what you've just done?
No.
You guys are not going to get into a college. You guys are not going to get any scholarships because this is a hate crime.
We all dropped out of high school. It's okay.
I still don't think it's appropriate for you guys to be doing this. It's really not.
To be honest, some of this is on us too. We give other cultures way too much access to black culture. The moment a white person shows any type of appreciation or interest for black people, a lot of us automatically give them the pass and invite them to the cookout. And a lot of times I understand it's not coming from a bad place. Black people are genuinely welcoming and kind people at heart. But we gotta understand, that same openness that we have for a lot of people gets taken for granted and weaponized against us a lot. And it gets weaponized against us by the people who would never give us that same level of access to their own communities. And it's not just white people, it's Hispanics too. At this point, they say it more than us, but that's a whole other video I'm working on right now.
Someone's already explained it to you.
Okay, tell it to me again. You telling me we cannot eat here?
So unfortunately, we do have a dress code. If you have some non-athletic shorts.
But that white kid out there can eat here with his tennis shoes on and his athletic shirt.
We allow tennis shoes, but not athletic shorts and t-shirts.
He has on you telling me that's not an athletic shirt? Not that one, but you telling me that little boy who just ate here does not have on an athletic shirt?
No license. There you go. Let's take a picture of it. Something that doesn't belong here. I play ringer. I pay $1,000. I'll tell you what, call the police that is. Call the police that is. License plate on there.
No blacks, no Jews, no gays. High up in the Ozark Hills, in the state of Arkansas, dozens of people have been working hard, building houses and a new type of community. It's called Return to the Land, and it is a town open to white people only. They are millennials and Gen Z, and this is a new update of age-old prejudice.
What we've done here is establish a place where we have control over who our neighbors are, and that is just for the sake of preserving, our culture.
And that culture effectively was saying, this is a white culture, a whites-only place.
White American culture.
Almost every other culture has some sort of boundaries. There are lines you don't cross, spaces you don't enter, things you just don't participate in unless you're part of that culture. But when it comes to us, a lot of times everybody gets invited to the cookout. Everybody gets access. But the wild part about it is, when we deny other groups access, now all of a sudden we're racist, we're gatekeeping, we're this, that, and the third. But nobody questions it when other cultures do it. They will literally strip the meaning of our words and turn something that was ours into something that's trendy, marketable, or profitable. And the phrase black fatigue is a great example of this. They took something that we created and flipped it against us in a racist way.
Black fatigue is real. I think society as a whole is there. We are just so unbelievably fed up with the ghetto ratchet behavior, entitlement, the victimhood, that they want to praise this woman.
Watch how his face just lights up as soon as she goes on her racist rant. That's crazy, man.
Black fatigue is when I can hear you 10 aisles away in Walmart with your 5 fucking kids. Black fatigue is when you have no home training and you have no idea how to act in public. And a lot of it is culture. I've been in the hood, I've been in the fucking schools and the projects where I was the only white girl there, and I can 100% guarantee you that it's culture. When majority of y'all know someone who has been unalived by another black person, way more than any instance of a black person being unjustifiably unalived by the police, that's black fatigue.
You see what I mean? That is not the original definition of black fatigue, but they hijacked our word and turned it into something racist.
I wrote and coined the term black fatigue to describe the mental, the physical, and the psychological manifestation of racism on black people.
Oh, you want to talk about fatigue? Let's look at Roger Borkham, the World Trade Center employee who narrowly escaped 9/11, beaten to death by 3 teens. Or how about 83-year-old Dorothy Doe, brutally attacked, beaten, and burned alive? The usual suspects.
It's always the usual suspects when it involves us. But when it's time for y'all to take accountability, it's radio silence. When they take what's ours, a lot of times we never see any money from it. They literally hire companies to scout out the next viral word, the next trend, the next piece of culture that they can exploit. And the moment they find it, they take it,
That's very true. That's very true. Like, that's very true, boy. He's spot on with that one. But it's like, wow, you know.
Listen, we are too grown to let diabetes boss us around. The Freestyle Libre 3 Plus sensor sends your number.
I'm talking about if you really challenge women, you really challenge the power of women. And that's as simple as going to women and saying, hey, shut the f*** up. You know, we don't want to hear you talk. I'll let you know when I want to hear you talk. I don't want to hear you talk right now, so shut the f*** up. Because guys get to a certain age and they're like, you know what? Women suck. Like, they're talking too much. They're not hot anymore. Like, you're fat, you're chubby, you're not as hot as you think you are. You talk too much, you're a bit... Women need to shut the f*** up.
Fuentes? The whole Fuentes? Because he's telling a lot of men how to behave. He is flicking himself off in his jeans in cars. I spoke to his ex-boyfriend 4 days ago.
Wait, what? Hold on.
Guys.
So, do you eat pussy?
I don't want to sound like an ass, but I don't do for the express pleasure of women, man. It's a waste of time. It's way more important to protect her than to please her. Who gives a about a woman's orgasm? It's useless.
Have a woman ever had an orgasm with you when you was having sex? Do you know how that feels? So for you?
Right, man, I don't, and it's like I'm not like in there like trying to like make it happen. I just like do it.
Yeah, describe her.
You know, when you grab a woman's breast and you feel it and it feels like a bag of sand.
Just a question. Do you eat pussy? Is that?
I just said a second ago. No, that's this.
Oh, you don't?
Never.
Me? You mean me?
No guy should be doing it.
I'm sorry.
None of you guys should be eating vagina, dude.
You don't find that suspicious?
And if you guys do like to do it, that means you're probably if I'm gonna be honest.
I beg your pardon?
Something's wrong.
Gay? How is that gay? How is that gay?
Because it's submissive behavior, which means you're gay.
What are you talking about?
Have you ever felt a breast before, man?
Yeah.
Nice home for him because he's telling a lot of men how to behave.
Look,
getting
guys,
flicked off the back.
let's not mention it.
Nick Fuentes is gay.
Guys.
For men and women to be not married, but texting each other all day.
Who gives a about a woman's orgasm? It's useless.
And watching Disney movies and cuddling together and,
No guy should be doing it.
Sorry.
None of you guys should be eating vagina, dude.
you know, playing this sort of game
And if you guys do like to do it, that means you're probably if I'm gonna be honest.
throughout college and then into early adulthood.
Have a woman ever had an orgasm with you when you was having sex? Do you know how that feels? So for you?
Right, man, I don't, and it's like I'm not like in there like trying to like make it happen. I just like
Will they or won't they? Am I gonna get married? Maybe we'll live. Get the fuck out of here, you stupid! And I just have no respect for wife guys. You will never, these kids will never convince me that real masculinity is being a provider for your wife.
The answer is you haven't got to answer. But are you actually attracted to women?
I am attracted to women.
You're not gay?
No.
Liar.
But I will say that women are very difficult to be around.
Okay.
So there's that. You'll never convince me of that and it does. You can say whatever you want about me until the day that I die. You will never convince me.
But are you actually attracted to women?
I am attracted to women. You'll never convince me of that.
You're not gay?
No. You'll never convince me of that, of what they say, which is, a real man. I saw one of these guys, he said, real masculinity is holding your newborn and crying, praying to God that everything's going to be okay.
How is that not masculine?
You can't keep getting away with it!
Welcome back. I've talked about a lot of different people on this channel. I've talked about short people who have broken their legs to get taller. I've talked about overly fat people. I've talked about overly skinny people. I've talked about rich people. I've talked about poor people. I've talked about black people. I've talked about white people. I've talked about Sudanese Arab people. I've also talked about people from Barbados. I've also talked about sports. I've talked about Resident Evil. I've talked about red pill gurus. I've talked about liars, grifters, sneakos. You know, I've talked about a lot of different things. But the one group of people that seem to be popping up the most lately is over-the-top, extremely racist ass white people. So we gotta talk about it. Again! Now today we're gonna focus mostly on woman propaganda. The individual who's basically some knockoff wannabe Christopher Columbus if he was reincarnated as a 1930s ventriloquist. That's pretty much what he's come back, and that's what this douchebag is. This man who pretty much hates women and hates anything that's not some white guy. This guy is a wannabe bank teller from the past. I mean, he just looks like a joke. And then we have Lily Gaddis, this woman right here who I know can't stand to be in the exact same room as this man. A woman who is secretly on the DL in love with BBC is out here putting on blackface and pretending to hate black people out here on the internet. I'm not even sure that she's an actual racist, but she's damn sure pretty much made her entire image a racist. So, I mean, that is what she is now, but you know, if you got mixed children, what's going on? I mean, like, you might still be racist, but I mean, you gotta have what's happening. But today they were talking about something that's very, 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 very important. And also, you know, a disclaimer, white people who are fans of this channel, just know that I'm not talking about you when I am addressing issues like this. I'm just not. So please don't get offended, and please don't take this stuff the wrong way. These are very specific types. Just like when it came to talking about black people on this channel, which mostly I was talking about, you know, Trash Pandas and Sly Coopers. Those people, they're not amongst my people. But still, you get what I'm saying here. But we have to talk about them wanting to preserve the white race. And that's what the interesting topic of the day is. So I'm going to play this clip in its whole, and then I'm going to break it down and go through it slowly.
The young white man, you are truly alone. All the young white guys need to team up because it is us against the world. Everyone hates us. You guys need to wake up to that fact. We need to become racist, and we need to take charge.
And by the way, don't buy into this propaganda that, oh, white girls are just whores. Let's go to fucking Colombia and get a cheap hooker.
Yeah.
This passport bro bullshit, that's Jewish as fuck. That's a Jewish psyop to make you have mongrel babies.
If you're non-white, if I was non-white and I wasn't in this battle like I am, if I was a black dude, I would be a passport bro.
Yeah.
For non-whites, I get it. Because you can go to a third world country and get a much hotter girl. You know, sorry, you just can't. As an American with like more money, you can pull something way better in a third world country. But she's gonna be brown. But if you're a black dude, or if you're a brown dude, you know, that's fine. Yeah, no, if I was non-white, I think I would be a passport bro. But if you're white, we're gonna have to wife up these hoes. You're gonna have to suck it up and wife up one of these American white girls, and but it'll be okay.
Your race matters that much. Like, your race in 10 generations, your line will have continued, and nobody will care that your great-great-grandmother was a hoe because you exist and you're more white people. The white race must be preserved at all causes. And by the way, girls become hoes when they don't have a guy putting them in line. So if like, most girls will take on the mindset of the guy that they're dating. So if you're conservative, I'm not saying go out and get some radical, insane liberal, like that's beyond the pale, but most girls will kind of meld into who you are, and if you just put them in their place, it'll be fine. And you got to do it for the race.
You got it. We're going to have
race.
Well, and again, and circling back, this is why I disagree with these pastors telling all these young men to wait till they're married, because none of the girls are virgins. Being a virgin man marrying a non-virgin woman is a terrible idea. You have no idea what you're getting. She's going to be able to just totally control you. You have no idea what you're getting into. So I do not, in America in 2025, I do not recommend waiting till marriage. As a man, if you're a woman, try and stay pure. But as a man, you know, none of the girls in this country are virgins. You're not going to find a virgin wife. So if she's going to be ran through, you need to be ran through as well. Ran through. Men aren't run through. Men do the running through. But, yeah, go rack up a body count and then get yourself one of these ran through white women. I'm sorry, we have no choice, this is the situation, and then hopefully our children can grow up in a country that's not totally fucked up. Okay, guys, that's the episode.
Generally, ranters are one of the more...
Shout out to the brother's channel, Random University. You see how insecure these people are with this information? Now, any white person come across the channel, yeah, there are people that look like you that speak like this. In private, this is just public. Imagine what they say in private. And this is how they really feel. And then, did you catch the thing about Nick Fuentes? He's so angry about women, put women in their place and everything. Ain't that all that macho bravado? What woman of any race would want to get with a man like that is beyond me. That's almost like, he's kind of remind me like an Andrew Tate. Gotta overcompensate, gotta be, yeah, man, yeah, this is what you got to do to these women and all this stuff. Like, sit your butt down somewhere. No wonder, and if any woman would want something like that, she must be cuckoo or really have a low self-esteem to deal with a man like that. And that garbage, what they said, that shit is demonic out of the pit of hell. They have, but that goes to show you their mindset in some people in that community. I mean, we have it in all communities, but they look how bold and brazen they saying it. I just don't understand. And like I said, look at the obsession with black culture. If you don't want to be somebody, you can always move in across the country, and there's still towns, and you don't have to go to extreme to make a place like Return to the Land. There are predominantly white spaces. There are towns still in America that's still predominantly white. I mentioned this in other videos. And there are white women, majority of them are going to be with white men. There's only a small sector of people that marry or have children of another person or adopt children of a different outside the race. But even same race couples adopt, children of a different race. But most of these places we talk about most white people are going to stick with white people. And that's not, so why are these people so insecure about this stuff? Why are they even bringing this silly shit to the internet? I mean, you go to any state, its majority is going to be white, regardless, unless you live in some part of the region. But majority of the places, small towns, rural areas throughout the United States are white, regardless of population, from east to the west to north to south of the United States. We're dying off. Dying off of what? Unless you overdose into something like that, and you don't unalive yourself, you be around, and have a mental evaluation, so you can stop, so young men can stop being insecure about themselves, and young women have to stop being insecure themselves about unaliving themselves. And young men don't have to go out there trying to unalive somebody else, or go to a school in a predominantly white area with a predominantly white person because they can't handle the fact that they've been rejected. I mean, if you look at it in that sense, you can survive, and you don't have to be around the people that is their places. But what I mentioned this before to all my non-white people, no matter where we go, they will always, and particularly come to our black culture. I'm telling you, if God came down with his heavenly angels and put us in a chariot and take us on the other side of the world and we prosper over there, these people will never stop to the end of time. Some of these people, and these are the ones who are racist. They'll act like they're not racist. They'll put on, I don't have anything, but secretly, unless you're another white person, a non-person who's not black, that's when you hear all this stuff spear about. That's what these other nationalities, or Latinos, and these other people, the Asians, hear about, because it was race. It's against black people in front of these people's face. So that's why so they picked up on what some white people have done in clusters. That's how racism was passed around. They picked up around, and so these same individuals. If I was around, because I heard some white people talk about other people, races of people, South Asians, Hispanics, Africans, whatever, and they had, because they figured I'm not part of them, so they could say I ain't gonna take up for them. See, it's a conquer and divide. Some people have it in them, and when they say, "Oh, I think all guys, all people," when it comes to people like that, be leery. We'll see how your actions over time. We'll see how your demeanor. Because anybody can say they're not prejudiced, they're not racist. Is the properties of what you're gonna act on it and what you're gonna show for it. We would know. Anybody who's a non-white person knows. For white persons, not prejudiced. You'll know. You know it on your job. You know it in public. You know it in the neighborhood. And you know when you go to school. You know any other sectors. So they feel like they're being picked on because they was the ones that execute and said, oh, when it's reflected, oh, we being blamed. It's like, it's the best places. It's like you put two children in the classroom, right? And let's say you get a child, he got all the new toys. And let's say that you give this white child. But this black child over here can probably have two toys that he like. Now the white child with all these toys, he had everything he want. But particularly this black child have two toys over here. He gets mad and he gets fit, so he wants to throw a fit because he can't have what that black child had. That's America. That's America in itself right there. They have all the things that they do. You see that they have all these things like this child. But when this child have one or two things, why has he got the one or two things? Why are you worried about the one or two things? When you already have what you have over here. Why are you so insecure? When we know white men go over in different parts of the world, and I might have to show you a video where there's some people still prefer white men. All you have to do is act like you got some sense. That is fact. You go to Africa, even Africa, there some white African white men. Latin America, some white. Trust me. They just don't want no psychotic white men. South Asian women there's some that want white men. I've seen them with white men here. It's like unless you want someone that's just your personal slave. But that's the insecurity that they have. That might be genetic with some people. Think about it. All right then, guys. Take care. Be blessed. See you on the next video.